We are live. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Oh, I'm so happy to be with you. I'm so happy to be with you. So happy. Today, family, I have to tell you something. I've said a lot of bizarre things over the last 11 years that I've been on YouTube. I've said a lot of bizarre things. Today, what I'm going to say, Tina, Tina, we've been waiting for this conversation. This is going to take bizarre to a whole new level. This could very well be the most bizarre thing I've ever said to you all in a decade. Are we ready? Jay! Mwah. How you living? Thank you. Hey, Bobby. Tina was texting me. She got her witch hat on. It's Witchy Wednesday. She's like, I'm ready. Bring it. Bring it. Jesus! Was Jesus a childhood murderer? Let's talk about it. I am, first of all, why didn't they tell us this in church? Why didn't they tell us any of this? Yay! You're in the live! I need prayers. Okay. I need prayers. Started having, grandma's seizures after 3 years of nothing. I'm scared. Bobby, you want to get deep into your rituals every day. You want to contact your spirit team and you want to go into spirit realms. This is, energy. Everything's energy, of course. See your doctors. It's not medical advice. This is energy. You want to go into spirit realms and you want to go with prayer and meditation every morning, and do it during the witching hour at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And let's get this right. Don't be scared, Bobby and Walker, because fear is not supportive of us, right? When we're on our healing path, we want love, wisdom, power. These three live in the heart: love, wisdom, power. And we have this love, wisdom, and power within our hearts. And we know like we know our names and ourselves. That spirit is powerful in us as us, right? Yay, mama. Mama Necka's love bites. Ooh. We just started. I'm already in the witch cackle. Oh, I love that name. Mama Necka's love bites. I love that name. Jay, how you loving? Thank you so much, Jay. And everyone send prayers and love to Bobby M. Walker on the healing journey. Yes, on the healing journey. Never be afraid, right? Fear is it's a challenge for us, right? When we're having some kind of experience in the body temple, or we're having some kind of experience in our lives, or we're having an experience, period. It can be very frightening. I've been so frightened in my life. And I found, okay, I got to put this fear on the shelf for a second. I'll come back and pick it up in a minute. Let me deep breath and clear myself, and let me go into spirit realms and pray and meditate. And it's always going to help, right? It's always going to help. Yes. Been teaching God does not judge. Come on, Jake. That's right. Family, are we ready for this bizarreness of Jesus' childhood? Let's get into it. So I took notes. And I took notes in my book because, I have notes for us today. Because there are going to be 10 stories that we're going to look at. So stay through the whole thing. Take notes, and we're going to dive into these 10 stories. And then you come to your own conclusions. And you tell me what your thoughts are. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to inspire you prayerfully to think deeper and to reflect on all we've been taught. And is it the gospel truth? Pardon the pun. And ask ourselves, how is what I am holding on to in my mind either taking me higher or not? That is the only question really that we need to concern ourselves with. Is what I am thinking, believing, is it taking me higher or is it keeping me lower? There's only two choices and there's no in between. Either it's heaven or hell. Ain't no in between. Either it's heaven, love, or it's hell, fear. That's where guilt lives. That's where hellfire is, damnation. That we're the dust of the earth. All the Christian, not so much teachings as they are even worse than a teaching, because an outright teaching, maybe you reject it, maybe you accept it. The connotations, some of the hidden messages that go along with the Christian teaching, be aware. Now, I'm not saying throw out Christianity, because hey, I'm a Christian witch. You know, I got my Bible and my deck, my tarot deck. I got my cross and my crystals. I got Christ and the craft, beautifully integrated into one. All good. Christ was a sorcerer as far as I'm concerned. Now you get to come to your own conclusions, and maybe you've come to conclusions that are different from mine, and that's beautiful. I salute it. We're here to have a conversation. We're here to have a global discussion about matters of the soul. And there's nothing off limits, because you're going to church. They are not going to talk to you about what we're about to talk about tonight. Derry, I love that, Derry. Derry says, I'm definitely going higher. That's where the growth is. That's exactly right. That's where the growth is. Because if we stay at one level, that is somewhat of a refusal to move. And that's a recipe to get stuck, because life is always seeking to move us, right? Life is not static. It's not to stay in one spot. Life is dynamic. We're being called higher. We're being urged higher. There's a divine unction to ascend and be more and become God, basically. Become God, whatever that means for you. And if we're not doing that, suffering. That's right, Derry. You are so right. Kathy, how you love it, boo? Kathy, you got your seatbelt on? Because this one, these stories, like I said, I've said a lot of bizarre things over the last 10, 11 years that I've been on YouTube. This is probably going to take the cake of all of them. Now, let's talk about the books. If you don't have this book, Christian Witches Manifesto, because there's a huge search for Christian Witches Manifesto, like they're all over Google and Amazon searching for this book. This book is no longer available in this format. Only, I took it off Amazon. It is only now available to members of the YouTube channel. Members of the YouTube channel pay $4.99 per month, and they get access to ebook versions of the book early. And if you would be so kind as to leave a review for any of the books that you have, if you have How to Be a Christian Witch, and if you have Spellcrafting for the Christian Witch, which has already hit the bestseller list a couple of times, baby. And she just came out. Spellcrafting for the Christian Witch. This is a compendium. Let me say this correctly. A compendium of Christian witchcraft. This book is about yay big. 442 pages. Ooh, it's a fat one. It's a fat one. You got magic on magic on magic. Okay. Pick it up. It is at christianwitches.com. All right, the Bible. So you love all the Bible stories. You know something, Kathy? I love those Bible stories too. Like, I love them. Unlike some Christians, I don't hold that all of them are the gospel truth, right? The what's the word? Unmistakable word of God. This is God. God did this. I don't know. I think they're wonderful allegories, metaphors for how we get to live. I know that the Bible is a book of energy, and it is teaching us how to comport ourselves on planet Earth. That I do know, right, Kathy? So you're with me. I love the books too. That's why we're doing this Forbidden Knowledge series, because oh my God. Aurora Day, how you love it? Okay, Megan, first time here, neophyte to becoming a Christian witch. Woo! Everybody welcome Megan. Welcome, Megan. Welcome, Megan. I'm so happy you're here, because Megan, some people are so afraid to even tip into these waters. Just very afraid. No need to be afraid. All is well. Everything is working out perfectly. Everyone is exactly where they're supposed to be. The universe is not upside down, even though it looks like it sometimes. All is well. All is well. let's get into our stories of Jesus' birth. And no, it's not in the book. I just made notes in the book because the Christian Witches Manifesto has note pages in the back. I'm revamping this book for us, by the way. I'm revamping it. Okay. Story number 1. Jesus is 5 years old. Now, before I go into this, let's talk about where these stories came from. Because you can look it up yourself. Don't take anything from don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. These stories that we're going to discuss today, these 10 stories, very brief, I'm just going to give you the highlights of these 10 stories. They are in a book of the Bible called the apocryphal books of the Bible called the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. Okay, so look it up. Different and distinct from the Gospel of Thomas. The Gospel of Thomas and the Infancy Gospel of Thomas, 2 different books. So when you look it up, you don't want to just pull up the Gospel of Thomas because you won't find any of this. You want to pull up the Infancy Gospel of Thomas because the Infancy Gospel of Thomas is where it's going to give you all this delectableness about Jesus from the time he was a baby all the way up. And at least some childhood stories when he was 5, when he was 6, when he was 8, when he was 12. Because did any of you, I have a question. Did any of you wonder what happened to Jesus? All you get is birth, 12, and 30. I used to ask, what was he doing in between? Valerie, that means I'm asking too many questions. Did any of y'all wonder that? Where was the rest of the story? Birth, 3 wise men, frankincense and myrrh, child in the east, yes. Then he went to Egypt. Then nothing else till 12. Okay, at 12, he's at the temple teaching the teachers. His mother and father leave Jerusalem, as we know. 3 days they were on the road. They don't see the child. They're like, where's the child? Where's the child? We thought that he was with you. We thought he was with you. They go back to Jerusalem, and there he is in the temple teaching the teachers. Child, the Mother Mary, oh my God, child, you vexed me. What is going on? He says, but you must know that I'm in the house of my father. Like, that's a famous story, right? And then after that, you don't hear anything else until John the Baptist. Actually, the next thing you hear is that he's at a wedding at 30, I believe, or I think either the wedding at 30, because that was his first miracle. That was right after he was, the miracle at Cana, that was right after he was baptized. So first, thank you, Spirit. So first he was baptized. He went to the River Jordan. We know the story. He went to the River Jordan. He met John the Baptizer, John Baptist. I grew up in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. In the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't call him John the Baptist because they don't like the Baptist religion, because religions are fighting with each other. They call him John the Baptizer. So if you hear me say that, that's just an old habit. Okay, so John the Baptizer baptizes him, and all the dove from heaven, and yes, oh, the Messiah, yes. Okay, what happened in between? Did anybody ever ask what happened in between? Let me look at the comments. What happened in between? Okay, Mama Necka's love. I want to hear this. I was a Jehovah's Witness for years. Also, I felt in a box and always searching for truth, and it just fell in my lap, my heart. Thanks for leading me to my own research to find the truth. Yes. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Okay, Megan. Yes. Why did they only give us birth, puberty, and death? That is the same question I was asking Megan. Where's the rest of the story? Like, I felt like something was missing out of the story. Well, when I started reading these other books of the Bible, that they said, oh, no, don't put those books in the Bible. That'll just confuse them. They're muggles. They won't understand these things. Some big dudes with big pointy hats, they made these decisions and they're affecting people. But not anymore, because now you can go read all of the books yourself, and I would recommend that you do that if you're so inclined. Let's start with the first story. Here is he, 5 years old. Jesus is by the river. There was a big rainstorm. Well, he's playing in the by the river at the riverbanks. It's the Sabbath. So he makes these pools of water. And he speaks over the pools of water and tells the pools of water to be clear, and instantaneously they were. Crystal clear, clean pools of water. Oh my goodness. One of the other kids, a son of a scribe, Annas, comes by and picks up a twig and is just raking, you know how kids are, right? He's raking the twig back and forth and he destroys baby Jesus' pools of water. What does baby Jesus do? This is exactly what baby Jesus says. I'm going to give you the exact words that he said because you can certainly pull this up online. Basically, he utters a curse and the kid drops dead. Let me give you the exact word. He said, "Oh, ungodly." This is what Jesus turned to him and said when he saw he had upset his whole thing that Jesus is, he's by the water, he's a waterbender. Notice the elements are in here. If you look at the story, you'll see the magic. So he's by the river and he's made these pools of water. I command thee, be clean. And they're clean and he's all in his zone. And here comes somebody disturbing his stuff. And he looks at this is what he says. 5 years old. Remember that was such an amazing story. I love stories. This is what he says. "O ungodly and disobedient one, what hurt have the pools done thee that thou hast emptied them?" Does this sound like a 5-year-old? This don't sound like no 5-year-old to me. "Thou shalt not finish thy course, and thou shalt be withered up, even as the branch thou hast in hand." And he went on. And after a little, he fell and gave up the ghost. So basically, Jesus, baby Jesus, 5 years old, cursed the kid drops dead. Did anybody tell you that baby Jesus was a murderer? Did anybody tell you that? No, they told you that they tried to murder him and he was all innocent. But they didn't tell you that this little superhuman, this little metahuman walking around, if he lived now, he would have a show on Netflix, right? He's this little metahuman walking around with all these supernatural powers and his power to kill and slay and life and death in the tongue, and he's just using it. Baby Jesus, you just killed a kid. Okay, the story gets better. That's the first story. 5 years old. Let's go to the next story. And family, I promise you. You say, "Trail, happy with you Wednesday." Family, I promise you, nothing I'm going to tell you today did I make up. This sounds so bizarre. It sounds like someone sat in a room high on shrooms or LSD or ayahuasca and told you a story. I know, right? Guru said, "Valerie, you gonna have the church show up with pitchforks." That's exactly right. They be coming after me with pitchforks, but what can you do? The thing is written down and it's on the internet. The gig is up. The secret is out. I'm not making this shit up. You can go pull up the manuscripts yourself. These manuscripts is as old as the Bible. Okay? These manuscripts are as old as the Bible. But these are the parts that they couldn't put these in the Bible because this is way too magical. Story number 2. Jesus is 5. We still on the riverbank. Now, first he was a water bender. Do you see how it's going through the elements? If you look at the secret esoteric teachings, it's all weaved throughout. Next, he takes earth. And he takes the earth and he molds them into 12 sparrows, birds. He molds earth, okay? So he's now an earthbender. First he was a waterbender, now he's an earthbender. He molds 12 sparrows, still on the Sabbath. And somebody corrects him. Hey, you. You can't be making stuff on the Sabbath. This is not acceptable. He looks at the person, he looks at the sparrows, and this is exactly what he says. "Sparrows, take thee flight, and remember me in your life." And all 12 sparrows came alive and flew away. I'll give you exactly what he said. He says, But Jesus answered him not. He didn't even answer the person that's rebuking him. You're making these things on the Sabbath. He looked at him, he turns back to the sparrows and he says, go ye, take your flight, and remember me in your life. Does it sound like a 5-year-old? The sparrows instantaneously take life, clay sparrows, and fly away. He don't say nothing to the person that's supposedly coming after him. It's like, I don't think you're going to be rebuking me. This is 5 years old. Okay, let's go to the next story. Story number 3. Jesus is walking in the town. And now, this town, after the first child was killed, when he said, you're going to be withered up just like, he's speaking these words, you're going to be withered up just like that twig that you used to mess up my stuff. And the kid drops dead, withered up just like the twig. And he goes on about, did anybody tell him you're not supposed to murder people? Especially kids? Okay, let's go further. This is story number 3. Story number 3. He's in town. One of the kids comes along, throws a stone at him, hits him on the shoulder. He tells the kid, thou shalt not finish thy course. The kid falls right there dead. This don't sound like the Savior. This sounds like a demon spawn. Does this sound like a demon spawn to anybody? This sounds like the spawn of the devil. Anyone? Any comments? Have y'all ever heard anything so bizarre? They are not teaching this in church. Okay, let's talk about it. Bobby. I remember my grandfather telling me the sparrow story. Look at that. That's right. It's out and it's about, and you can read it. You can pull it up. As a matter of fact, you can go to YouTube, and right on YouTube, they have the audio version of this, and you can listen to all of it. I didn't even go into the infancy stories, which I'll probably go into next week. The very early infancy stories where every time Mother Mary would bathe him in water, she would give his bath water to people, and they would put it on themselves and be healed. Okay, let's go to number 4. Okay, now Jesus then killed 2 kids. The townspeople are beside themselves. They're like, oh my God, this time they're just in an uproar. They stormed Joseph's house. Joseph and Mary's there with the kid. Tell him that he can't do this. What manner of person is this that he says a word and the word is done? What manner of person is this? Where did he come from? Y'all have to go away from here because we don't even know when he might strike next. He doesn't like somebody, his word becomes done like that. You can't just do something with this child. Okay. We're going to do something with him. Can you imagine if the whole town came to your house knocking on the door, your kid is out of order? I'm reading this story like, what? Okay, next. Hey, Sherry, how you loving? Oh my God, global melanin. Raised in the JW organization, never connected, still on the journey of finding the real truth, my truth. I love that global melanin. Keep going. Sharon, have you ever heard this story before, Sharon? Never heard these stories before. They certainly won't talk about them in church. I've just never heard these stories before. And they're in detail. And when you look at the infancy stories when he was a baby, you see that they wove in the 2 evildoers, quote unquote evildoers, that were beside him on the cross. They're in a very early story. They're in a very early story. Sharon, never, right? I mean, this is fascinating. And it's public. Anyone can read it. Anyone can see it. The manuscripts are available to everyone. So we're talking about the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. Now, this is a different gospel than the Gospel of Thomas, okay? I just tuned in. What is happening? Jesus, what did you do? Jacqueline, Jesus is out here in these streets killing kids. Megan, isn't this mind-blowing? Okay, so we're on story number 4. So the townspeople have come, they told, get him out of here. Otherwise, you get him out of here or you get him under control. Okay, Joseph, okay, we're going to get him under control. So he's like, okay, we're going to send you for a teacher. And we're going to have this teacher teach you. We're going to send you off to be with the teacher, and get you somehow. They didn't know what to do with him. Well, Mother Mary, she understood it because she was the one doing all these miracles with him. In the earlier stories, when he was a baby, there was a boy who had been bewitched, as they say in the Bible. He'd been bewitched and turned from a human into a donkey. And they sat, and the sisters came to Mother Mary and bought the donkey, and the donkey had on this fine silver silk clothing, and they were looking at him like, why would anybody dress up a donkey like this? And they said, this is our brother, but he's been bewitched. And they turned him into a donkey. And Mother Mary said, oh, don't worry about it. And she takes Jesus and she puts baby Jesus, he was a baby now, he's an infant. She puts him on the back of the donkey, and instantaneously the donkey changes when the bewitchment breaks. And now the enchantment that was on him breaks, and now he is back to being a little boy, not a little boy, a young man, their brother, with his finery on, his clothes. Does that sound like something out of a Disney tale or Beauty and the Beast? Anyway, let's go further. So they're going to give him a teacher, and they're saying like, okay, let's get him a teacher. They call a teacher, one of the best teachers. This is story number 4. Okay, so they get him a teacher, and the teacher says, don't worry, I'll take care of him. We're going to give him something to do. We're going to teach him how to, bless and not curse. That's what the whole people were talking about. They were talking about teaching. She's stirring the pot today. Tina, I can't help it. It's my destiny to just share the truth, share what I know, share what I find. Oh my God. I love this stuff. I love it. Okay, so this teacher says, don't worry, I'm going to take care of him. So the teacher takes him, and the teacher is teaching him the alphabet, because they're like, teach him the letters and give him some understanding that he needs to bless and not curse, right? That's what they keep saying. Teach him to bless and not curse. Okay. So the teacher says, okay, he's starting him with the alphabet, A, B, C, D, blah, 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 blah. Aleph, Beth, Gimel, he's going through the alphabet. He says Aleph, and Jesus says Aleph, 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 Aleph. How you would teach a little kid. And then finally Jesus breaks into this soliloquy, dissertation on, do you know the meaning of Aleph? And the teacher looks at him like, what are you talking about, little boy? And Jesus breaks down Aleph, why is the beginning, the strokes in the letters, the energy pattern of the letters. He breaks this whole thing down. It's one letter. He breaks the whole thing down, and he looked at the teacher. The teacher was like, okay, I can't do nothing with you. The teacher takes him back to the parents. I can't do nothing with you because I'm old, and this kid know more than me. I don't know where y'all got this kid. He said, either this kid is from heaven, or I don't know where this kid came from, but I can't do nothing with him. I'm sorry, I tried. I swear I tried. Please don't kill me, baby Jesus. I can't help you. And Jesus and this story is, this thing is fascinating. Jesus just sitting there like, whatever. He's God, so what are you going to do with God? Mary and Joseph is looking at him like, well, we tried. Okay. That's story number 4. The teacher ran from him. The teacher said, this kid knows more about the entire universe than I know. And I'm an old man. I've been humbled by a child. No, thank you. The teacher was totally shook. Guru. Megan, I got goosebumps. Oh my God. Do you see why they were not telling you this in church? Do you see why they couldn't give everybody this forbidden knowledge? They would be like, oh my goodness. They can't, oh man, tears are flowing. Number 5. Oh, it gets better. Kids playing. They're playing on the rooftop. He's still 5. Man, 1 year in Jesus' life is like a whole movie. I want to see this in Hollywood. I want to see this story in Hollywood. Okay. Where do they talk about a young or teenage Jesus? I would like to read. Oh, that's what this is. This is the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. different and distinct from the Gospel of Thomas. So here in the Forbidden Knowledge series, we're not talking about forbidden knowledge because you can't know it. We're talking about forbidden knowledge because there's probably people that don't want you to know it. And if they don't want you to know it, that's all the more reason to go read it. And now there's forbidden knowledge that they've never talked about in church that is just so rich with meaning and metaphor and allegory and power and spiritual energy is now available to you. It's available to everyone. This is like a movie, isn't it? Okay. All right. You're welcome, G-Man. Let's go to story number 5. I just pulled out 10 little stories for y'all today. But trust me, there's way more. Okay, so story number 5. Some kids are playing up on the roof. And now this is a short roof, right? Because they didn't have big skyscraper buildings back in the day. This is the ancient world, right? So they had little adobe buildings that they had. It was a 2-story building, and the kids were playing on the top of the 2-story building. You know how the blue ref, the roofs were flat. Okay, so it's a flat roof structure, and here go the kids, right? So where do we find it? Hello, Melissa. Good question, Melissa. To tell you the honest truth, you can Google Infancy Gospel of Thomas, and guess what you'll see? I'm gonna show it to you on my iPad because that's really all you have to do. And if you do that, I'm going to show you what will come up. Look at all of these Infancy Gospel of Thomas. I don't know if you can see it because it's got all of these will come up. It's very wide, and it's very widely known among scholars. However, not among people that go to church. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so he's on the roof. The kids are playing. One kid falls off the roof, dies. All the other kids run. Jesus didn't run. I mean, you're Jesus. Why are you going to run? All the other kids run. Oh, my God. Here come the parents wailing because people are like, oh, my goodness, this is disturbance. They probably right away going to blame it on baby Jesus. He's only 5. But he been killing people left and right with his word. He never said anything. He can curse and bless, and the thing just happened just like that. He can give life to the sparrows. He can curse, and people just fall down dead. They get there, and this boy is laying out, just a big hullabaloo in the city, in the little town, right? And here comes Jesus. Then look up. You did it. He's still on the roof. You did it. Are you ready for this? He levitates. Yes, family. Baby Jesus levitated. He jumps down from the roof and lands on his feet. Now, this other kid fell off the roof and died. That's how high this thing was. He jumps and lands right on his feet. at the head of the boy. And he says, Zeno. Zeno, that's the boy's name. Zeno, he calls his name twice. Zeno. Because they're like, you did it. He said, did I push you down off of that roof? Zeno is resurrected from the dead and says, no, you didn't push me off the roof. And Jesus is like, I told you. They're like, oh my God. We don't know if to be happy, scared. We don't know what to do with this child. This child is out of control. I didn't kill him. I would have killed him if I wanted to, but I didn't want to. I didn't kill him. I'm like, why, Jesus? Why? So Jesus brings the kid back to life. Okay, story number 6. All right, Jacqueline said there ain't nothing like 5-year-old God flying. Is this story, I mean, what are y'all thinking when y'all hear this story? Thanks for sharing this. I've been struggling with my spirituality. Oh my God, this is priceless, right? I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here, Tina. Too funny when you think about these stories. I'm blown away. I don't even know what to think about these stories. Okay, number 6. So here, a neighbor chopping wood, and the neighbor misses with the axe, chops his foot. He's bleeding out. the townspeople. Oh my goodness. I really want to see this made into a movie, like 1 year in Jesus' life, just when he was 5. All the townspeople, oh my goodness, he's dying, he's bleeding out, and they didn't have no hospital. So, they would try to bandage you up the best they could, put some herbs on you, say some prayers and all these kinds of things, right? Or stitch you up the best way they knew how. Well, the man is bleeding out. And Jesus is like, excuse me. And he goes to the man's foot and he puts his hand on the man's foot. And the man's foot is instantaneously healed. And he says, pick up your axe. And the man gets up and he picks up his axe and he's ready. And everybody's like, oh, okay. You can stay around us, we think, because you killed 2. But you did raise one from the dead and you did just heal somebody from almost dying. So maybe the two kind of balance out a little bit. It's Danielle. Danielle, Jesus is Hercules. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is spectacular. We're studying today, family, on forbidden knowledge. If you're just joining us for the forbidden knowledge series, go through the entire series, because I said in the beginning, of all the bizarre things that I have said on this channel and online in the last 10, 11 years, I feel like today tops is the all-time top in bizarre. Like, if anything I ever said to you before was bizarre, I feel like this is probably the most bizarre thing I have ever said in my life, maybe. All right, number 7. Now he's 6. Phew. Because his 5-year-old, good Lord, we can't survive no more. He's 6 now. His mother sends him to the well to draw water. He gets to the well. He puts the pitcher down into the well. And it's nice to have God powers. Because if anything just doesn't work the way you need it to work on the 3rd dimension, you can just use your God powers. So he was just using his God powers. The pitcher breaks. He's like, he spreads out his cloak. Does this sound like Elijah? Spreads out his cloak, draws the water from the well into his cloak, picks up his cloak, takes it to his mama, Mother Mary. Here you go, Mom, here's the water. She's like, oh, my baby. Man! It's very convenient to have these God powers. Very convenient. Oh my God. Number 7. Oh, that was number 7. Okay, let's go to number 8. Okay, now this happened when he was 8 years old. So he's 8 years old, and Joseph, his father, is a carpenter, right? Well, according to how this infancy story of Jesus goes, we need to pitch this to I'm telling you, Robert, I want to see this movie. I want to see this on Hollywood and a big screen, or I want to see this on Netflix, because this is beyond anything you can make up, okay? That's exactly right. We've got to do it, okay? All right, so here's story number 8. And by the way, family, of course, you can read all of this. I'm making none of this up. Bizarre as it may sound, I'm making none of this up. You can go and read it for yourself, pull up the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. That's the name of it. Not the Gospel of Thomas, the Infancy Gospel of Thomas, 2 different manuscripts, okay? Oh my God. I believe in the word when it says study to show thyself approved. I don't think we need to just sit and wait and let people feed us whatever they're going to feed us in church every Sunday. I believe in going and searching and looking and reading. And if anybody ever tells you something is forbidden, oh, no, don't read the Apocrypha. You need to be like, wink, thank you. You need to go straight to it. If they tell you it's forbidden, go straight to it. Go straight to it. All right, I thought I was going to miss it. You didn't miss it, Angel. You didn't miss it. Number 8. So, in this Infancy Gospel of Thomas, apparently, even though Joseph is a carpenter, apparently he's not the best carpenter, and he keeps getting put upon by like kings and princes and people like this that want these things built for them, right? They want a big throne made out of wood, or one person wanted this big ginormous bed, made out of wood, and you put the burlap sacks on top of it or whatever they used for a mattress back in the day. Well, anyway, they would call him and to make these big monstrosities for them. And he wasn't always great at cutting the wood perfectly even. So here he is, hipping Jesus. He took Jesus with him. 8. Jesus is 8. And he cuts the wood for this person that wants this big bed. And he cut the wood incorrectly. And one side, the wood is too long. On the other side, the wood is too short. And he's like, oh, what am I going to do? Jesus said, don't worry about it. 8 years old. He says, hold the other side. He takes... I didn't get that. Could you try again? I'm not speaking to you, Siri. I'm not sure I understand. Siri is talking to me now. I'm not talking to you, Siri. Okay, anyway. Even Siri is in this conversation. So Jesus takes the wood on the side where it's too short and stretches it out so that both sides are perfectly even. Now, he does this a few different times because apparently Joseph is not the greatest carpenter. So when they're making these big throne chairs, it's like, oh, cut the wood wrong. You got to go get a whole nother tree. It's not like now where we have all these power tools. You ain't had no power tools. You had to be like, right? Everything was so strenuous because it was all human labor. No problem if you got a baby Jesus. Man, baby Jesus would come there and just pull the wood. So there's a few stories where apparently the wood would match and Jesus would either make it longer or shorter. Whatever you need. He would just run. We good? We good. Okay. And Jesus would be like, okay, let's chill now. We ain't got to work so hard. I'm like, dang, that's how you use your God powers. That's how you use your God powers. Okay. That's number 8. Let's go to number 9. Number 9, he's got a second teacher. So the first teacher, we already know, ran away. Like, I can't deal with this kid. Here goes the second teacher. The second teacher is like, I heard about this kid. This kid is all over the place. He's cursing things and blessing things. And he's like, I got something for this kid. He gonna learn. You gonna learn today. That's not the attitude you want to have when you're approaching baby Jesus. So he takes baby Jesus and he's doing some studies, and he tells him Aleph, the first letter. And he's like, I ain't trying to say that. The teacher gets mad with him because apparently baby Jesus is belligerent and he strikes him. Back in the day, teachers could beat you. Well, he pops him, and baby Jesus said, you will not see through your course, or your course is complete. You know the word he would say? Or you will not see through to your completion. Man drops dead. Baby Jesus, you can't kill your teachers because you don't like them. You can't kill your teachers. Kid still is just 8 years old. How many murders has this kid committed? Next. Number 10. It is said that Jesus has a twin brother, right? That's another discussion for another day. Today, we're just talking about childhood murdering Jesus. That is the topic of discussion for today. Childhood murdering Jesus. That's what's on the table. If you just joined us. Now, it says that he has a twin brother, okay? So, Jesus be sounding like something out of a comic. With great power comes great responsibility, Jesus. Jesus didn't learn that yet, right, Jacqueline? Jesus, they're trying to get him to heal. You can see how they keep trying to get him to heal, and it's not working. Because he has these superhuman God powers, and apparently, you know how you would get some kind of teacher? If you have God powers, they usually take you somewhere where they understand God powers, and they can get you to hone your God powers, harness your God powers. You're probably not walking around among mere mortals wielding all these God powers, shooting flames out your hands and all that. It's dangerous. They didn't know what to do with him, right? Okay, number 10. Jesus and his brother go out in the, like into the wilderness, not the wilderness, but like into the trees, and they're gonna pick some fruit, pick some food. Well, a snake bites James, his brother. Gets a snake bite. It's a poisonous snake bite. So of course, Jesus is going to do something about this because, the boy's dying. It looks bad. They go back to where the snake is. Jesus talks to the snake. You gonna call back your poison from my brother. They say Jesus blew on the boy's hand. The venom goes out of the hand. The snake apparently said, okay, I gotta take this venom back. And then the snake dies. Do you ever feel like sometimes you just need to sit and meditate on something because your head is just blown wide open? When I was studying all this, I said, why is it that I'm like almost 60 on this planet? I've been on this planet almost 6 darn decades. And I have never heard of any of this before. Spirit brought it all to me. This is all flowing right to me, and I can read it all. And it's I'm understanding it. And I'm sharing it. And it's moving. These stories have been hidden in a jar somewhere buried in Egypt. Or somewhere under the sands of time, stuck in a cave somewhere. And now they're pulling them out. And you can read them. They're right online. You can read them. Now, tell me your thoughts, family, before we close. Those are just 10 of the stories. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, and I don't want to tell you what to think, but what are y'all thinking? You tell me. What are y'all thinking? Hello. That is a return to sender. Isn't it the truth? You're going to take this venom back. Yes, great power brings great responsibility. Now, that was a wow. Wasn't it? I don't know what to say about the whole thing. I'm still meditating on the meaning of it all, because this man had control. Baby Jesus had, look at the elements. He had control over the water element, the element of earth, the wood. In the east, the elements are different than in the west. In the west, we have earth, air, fire, water. Ether is the 5th element, right? In the east, they have wood, metal, fire, water, air, or wind. It's called wind, right? So in feng shui, he was mastering pretty much all of these elements, Aurora Day. After reading these stories, I realized that it is true that I only have to speak the word over my life and declare it to me. Amen. Love it. Love it. Love it. Megan, these stories would definitely keep people awake in church. Child, do you even think, Megan, family, do you even think that people are ready for these in church? I'll bet you if you went to the average church-going person and you asked them about any of this, they would say, don't read that. Oh, that ain't nothing but the devil. No. Yet, it aligns with all the Bible stories. It has all the Bible characters in there. And my question is, why is one forbidden and the other not? Very fascinating. Just questions. I'm just asking questions. That's all. Mind blown. Megan, me too. I love you, family. That's this episode of Witchy Wednesday. Forbidden Knowledge on Witchy Wednesday. Pick up the book, Spellcrafting for the Christian Witch. This is a compendium of Christian witchcraft and how to use these energies that we talked about today for, as Aurora Day said, for your upliftment, for your life. Really? That's all this is about. This is about you understanding ye are gods. Valerie Love, ValerieLove.com, and Christian Witches. Come on, ChristianWitches.com. Love y'all. I love you, Tina. Love you, Mama Necker's Love Bites. Love you, Jay. Love you, Central. Love you, family. I love you. Mwah. God bless. Peace.